Hey YouTube, how's it going? It's true that I wasn't going to use this crappy webcam anymore, but I decided that for this video, Crazy Talk animation just simply wouldn't be appropriate. And now I'm going to cut to basically a slideshow of pictures while I talk about how I remember 9/11/01.
The times of impact was 8:46 a.m. and 9:02 a.m. The burning towers stood for 56 minutes and 102 minutes. They took 12 seconds to fall. The death toll was 2,819 people from 115 different nations. 343 firemen and paramedics, 23 New York police, 37 Port Authority officers. Recently, I saw a news item being talked about on Facebook that still leaves me angry at the insult given by America's leaders. Due to a lack of room, New York City police officers, Port Authority police officers, and FDNY firefighters are not invited to the 10th anniversary of 9/11 at Ground Zero. Of course, they weren't invited on that day in 2001 either. They just showed up and became heroes. To be blunt, I believe these heroes belong at this memorial far more than any of the politicians who are invited. On 9/11/01, my wife and I watched the GMA footage where Charles and Diane first learned that an airliner had struck one of the World Trade Center towers. They cut to the traffic copter camera that was showing the two buildings. As they talked, we watched smoke pouring out of the one tower. Then, in a moment of horror that is as fresh today as it was on 9/11/01, we watched as the second plane came into view on the right side of the screen. At that moment, for me, the world shifted into slow motion. I watched the plane as it turned, the person flying it aiming directly for the second tower. Then it slipped out of view behind the towers, and wham! There was just enough time to realize, my God, that plane is going to hit. And then there was an angry cloud of fire and dark smoke as the plane's fuel supply, enough for a non-stop flight to Los Angeles, transforms the upper floors of the second tower into a raging inferno. These images are no less shocking 10 years after the fact as they were on that fateful day. It is important, urgent even, that we not forget. The following is some of the only poetry that I have ever written. I wrote it on the second anniversary of 9/11. To this day, I believe that it was inspired by God, and therefore I will not apologize for it. We cannot forget what happened. We cannot forget those who died. We cannot forget those who ran into harm's way to save others. They had and showed the greatest love of all. In John 15:13, Jesus said, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." I dare to think that greater still is that love when he laid down his life for strangers. We cannot forget what happened. We cannot forget those who hated. We cannot forget we are hated and despised the world over. We cannot forget those who are ready, willing, and even eager to die in order to harm us. They show the greatest hatred of all. A little here, a little there, all it takes is time and patience. Prayer is out of place in school. After all, some might actually pray. A little here, a little there, all it takes is time and patience. School books need revising. They are old and out of date. And while we're at it, let's rewrite history and present our slant. Truth is lies, and lies are truth. A little here, a little there, all it takes is time and patience. The ultimate forgery we'll commit. Murder most foul, of the Most High Himself. God is dead will we preach. Humanism and evolution will we teach. By making man out of a monkey, we've done the reverse. A little here, a little there, all it takes is time and patience. The 10 Commandments, they must go. Out of schools, away from prying eyes, lest someone should actually read and even venerate. A little here, a little there, all it takes is time and patience. Life is cheap, they say. We know 'tis true 'cause we've made it so. In a hurry, got a career, or maybe you just want to have fun. Around the corner, the handy clinic. As easy as 1, 2, 3. As simple as ABC. One less mouth to feed. A little here, a little there. All it takes is time and patience. Disaster, horror, attack. Fear, fire, foes. Agents everywhere. Al-Qaeda lies in wait. We know not who, we know not when. To keep all safe, we must suspect all. Security we need, protect the homeland we must. Guards and scanners, cameras everywhere. Go anywhere we must. Open any door, read any paper or file. In the name of safety, freedom must be sacrificed. Freedom is slavery. Slavery is freedom. I saw the following in a Usenet message about 8 years ago, and I choose to repeat it here because I believe that it needs to be repeated. Americans need to ask themselves where they have heard words like these in the last 10 years. Quote, "An evil exists that threatens every man, woman, and child of this great nation. We must take steps to ensure our domestic security and protect our homeland." That was Adolf Hitler proposing the creation of the Gestapo in Nazi Germany. Sound familiar? America, you better pull your head out. End quote. Finally, I have to say that I have always disagreed with the choices for a World Trade Center memorial. In my mind, the best thing that could have been done would be to have rebuilt the towers, twice as tall as the originals. This picture being my favorite design variation. I remember 9/11/01, a date Americans must never forget. Take it easy. I'm out of here.